Now that all of our supplies should be out there. So how many cookies do you have?
6.
7 cookies. You should have 7. Now, here's what we're going to do with our cookies. And you have to do this very carefully. Now, what we're going to do is take them apart. Now notice when you take them apart, you try not to break them. If you give them a little twist, that usually helps. And you pull them apart and, oh, I have icing on both sides. Take this side with the most icing. So I'm going to take this side. And I'm going to use this side, since it has the most icing. I'm going to put it in one of my circles, okay? So this goes in maybe my interphase circle. Then you have a circle for prophase, a circle for metaphase, and all your 7 circles. So fill your 7 circles with a half cookie, the side that has a lot of stuffing on it, okay? Uh-oh. Sorry.
What do you do with the other half?
No, I'm not giving extra cookies, because then people will be breaking their cookies on purpose. You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
That's pretty smart. Wait, what do you do with the other half?
Oh, the other half? Great question. Sully, the other half, you just put that in your plate, okay? Put that in your plate. All right, so let's all go ahead and divvy up our cookies, separate them out. All right, so we have 7 models that we're going to be creating, right? Now, so 7 circles. And what we're going to do is use each circle to represent what's going on in mitosis. So the first circle will represent interphase, won't it? Now remember, that's mainly what cells are doing. They're going through interphase. Now then, who can refresh our memory? What in the world is interphase? What is a cell doing during interphase?
It's creating proteins, like we studied with DNA replication.
DNA replication. That's just going on and going on and going on, isn't it? So DNA replication, is there a nucleus?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and eukaryote.
So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a nucleus. Now, how do we draw on our icing? Your paper clip. So take your paper clip. You can kind of bend it to make it hook up. So bend it. And then take your paper clip and draw a circle in the center to represent your nucleus, okay?
Is the center allowed to, like, a small one or a big one?
Do a pretty big one because we have to put stuff inside the nucleus.
I already messed up.
Like, can't the white stuff just
You can erase
make
it
the
if you just
nucleus?
press down on it with your finger. Nope.
Oh, great, Tyler.
Yeah,
So if you mess up, just press on it with your finger, right? We shouldn't be eating yet. No eating the cream yet either. I know, it's tempting, isn't it? All right, now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add in chromosomes and genetic information. Now, we're using sprinkles to represent that, aren't we? So, we have how many colors of sprinkles?
2.
2. We have brown. I'm going to use a black marker to represent that. And what's your other color? Blue. I'll use a blue marker. Unfortunately, I have one. So, what you're creating at your desk, I'm going to be drawing up here. Okay? Now then, to keep it simple, we're going to have 2 strands of brown and 2 strands of blue. Okay? So this is genetic information. Now notice, did I draw the chromosomes as X's?
No.
I didn't, did I? That's because at this point they are not coiled up, are they? Because they just got through duplicating and replicating. So they're not in that X pattern yet. All right, so go ahead and build interphase and what it looks like on your Oreo cookie model. Obviously, which circle are you going to put this?
Interphase.
In interphase, right?
So smart.
Let's add in this bit of information. 90%, right? 90% of a cell's life
How much life is all these cookies?
is spent in interphase, isn't it? Okay. Now, obviously, we're not drawing out all the steps of DNA replication. You've done that in your notes earlier, haven't you? So, we're at least getting it ready for all the stages of mitosis. All right. So, after the cell spends 90% of its time just making copies, making copies, making copies, making copies, making copies. It's making those copies to get ready to duplicate itself, isn't it? Because the cell wants to not just be one cell, but two. So, in order for that to happen, the next process will happen, or the next phase will occur. So what's the next phase, everyone? All right, it is mitosis, but specifically, the first step of mitosis is prophase, isn't it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this because you guys already have your cookie models built, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to use this now for our next step. So I'm no longer drawing interphase, am I? But I'm in the first step of mitosis. Now in mitosis, if you remember, the DNA does something. The DNA begins to coil up. And if it's coiling up, it forms into those X patterns, doesn't it? So we need to take our blue and our brown and now form them into X patterns. So let's do one X brown. Of course, I'm using black, so brown marker. And one X will be blue. Now, if you need to break your sprinkles, you can. I know some of the sprinkles are kind of long, some of them are really short. So do what you need to do to make it an X, okay?
Do you want us to do the circle again?
Oh, do we?
No, because it's inside.
Now, if you think about it, during this phase, during prophase, the DNA coils up, right? But what happens to the nucleus? Who remembers?
Doesn't it like dissolve?
It does. It begins dissolving. So let's show that. Here's what we can do. Rather than draw a big nucleus, I'm going to draw a dashed one. Does that dash make you think it's dissolving and going away?
Sure.
Okay. Sure. Thanks. So what you'll do is go ahead and add your brown and your blue chromosomes, then your disappearing nucleus. But something else begins to form. We're going to get to draw something really cool, something that looks kind of like spiders. Can anyone remember what begins forming? Spindles, yes. And those spindles are eventually going to start moving everything around inside the cell, aren't they? So on your cookie cell model, make sure your chromosomes are there, your disappearing nucleus, and with your paperclip, draw in some little spindles. It looks like everyone is finishing up their prophase section. So let's see, let's just check things off as we complete them. So did we complete interphase?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Did we complete prophase?
Yes,
sir.
All right, so let's move on to metaphase. Now in metaphase, I always like to focus on the M, because the M reminds us of something very important.
The middle.
The middle. So something's going to happen in the middle of the cell, isn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, because we're moving into metaphase. Now in metaphase, are the chromosomes still shaped like X's? Are they still together?
They get pulled apart by the spindle.
Oh wait, no, they get pulled apart in a different...
Wait, isn't this when they're lined up?
Yes, this is when they're perfectly lined up right in the middle.
Very close.
So if we had like
And the nucleus is gone, right?
an invisible line, that's my invisible line that's
Do we
visible.
need to draw an invisible line?
You would put the chromosomes perfectly lined up. They're still shaped like X's here, aren't they? But then show what has moved them. What has moved them around?
The spindles.
The spindles, right? So I'm going to draw some spindles.
Then we don't have to draw a nucleus, do we?
Do we need a nucleus?
No, sir.
There is no nucleus in this step, is there?
This makes it so much easier.
It's a magician.
Someone draw those spindles doing their job, moving
This is so easy.
those chromosomes around, lining them up perfectly in the middle. I think most of us are finishing up with metaphase, right?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and check that off.
Have you drawn spindles?
And we're going to move on to the next one. Now, in the next phase, voices off, please. The next phase, there's a lot of action. There's some ripping going on. What gets ripped in the next phase or anaphase? The poor chromosomes are going to get ripped apart, right? So they used to be connected in the middle. So they're no longer going to be connected in the middle. They're going to get separated, aren't they? So the next phase, anaphase, and I like to focus on the A of anaphase because it's a really big hint, isn't it? The A tells us they move apart. Of course, they have to get ripped apart first, don't they? So we're going to get one half of a chromosome moved to the other side, right? And then one half of the other chromosome moved to this side. And you can probably use 2 of your sprinkles to demonstrate it.
Do we still have to draw spindles?
And did the spindles have any part in this?
Yes.
Ah, then should we draw spindles?
Yeah.
I guess.
Sure.
The spindles is what is moving them, right? Moving them over.
I like your thinking, Bill.
But not my thinking.
Can't find a reason not to do it, you should do it.
Finished with anaphase?
Indeed.
Yes.
Sure.
So that means we can move on to telophase. Now then, I like to focus in on the T of telophase. And who can remember why? Can anyone remember why we focus in on the T of telophase?
Because you're gonna tell us.
Tyler, do you think you remember?
Is it because
It's been a while.
translation and transcription in it?
No, remember, that's going to happen in interphase.
Oh yeah.
Joe?
Because you're gonna tell us about what's gonna happen.
Oh, you remember my joke, didn't you?
We'll remember your dad jokes for the test, but not the science.
Oh, no.
Hey, you should make some questions about dad jokes for bonus.
No.
Oh my god.
I want you to remember the content. That's why I make the dad jokes, so you remember the content.
Oh yeah, I remember.
All right, so let me refresh your memory. Let me tell you again. All right, the T in telophase represents 2 because 2 nuclei begin to form. So what we're going to do is draw 2 nuclei. Now,
Oh no, my smallest one.
what will go inside? What will go inside the nucleus?
The sister chromatids, right?
Those chromatids that have been separated and moved away are now going to be in here, aren't they? All right, so let's add in our chromosomes. There.
It's so hard to put sprinkles in there.
And actually, we're going to have both sets in there. Gentlemen, is there a problem?
No, it's just it looks for a second like a crossed out eye, and then the whole thing took place.
Oh, okay. All right. Now also your Oreo cream. This is where the cell actually starts to divide, isn't it? So you can take this Oreo cream right here, take that off, and show how
Wait, what?
the cell starts dividing, doesn't it?
Can we eat the Oreo cream?
So you do need to know that basically the original chromosomes that would have been in the original cell, they were duplicated and now they're separated on opposite ends, aren't they? And a new nucleus is forming around them. All right, and then finally, the last step, right? The last step should look just like the first step, shouldn't it? Except for you have 2 of them. So you're going to do interphase all over again, but just make 2.
Whoa.
So you have 2 identical daughter cells, just like the starting cell.
So we add a nucleus and two, are the chromosomes in them, are they straight or crosses?
Basically they're gonna be, here we already drew them crossed already, so you can put them in there crossed. Your cell cycle labeling handout. This is for grade. Notice there's a front side and a back side. Now you can use your models to help you with this. You can use your notebooks to help you with this. You can even work together. And as you're quietly working on your handout, you may enjoy your mitosis cell models. Yes, you get to eat them.
We get to enjoy them by looking at them.
Now, you might want to eat them slowly because they might actually help you with your homework. If you eat them too quickly, then you won't be able to see it for your homework.
Your extras first.
Yeah, eat that.